Sorry I couldn't make it to your staff meeting today, but today I'm going to do a screencast and just a couple iPad apps that might be handy for you as you're tracking reading and also both fluency and comprehension. So I wrote about these apps last year, but wanted to highlight a few new features with both of them and ways that I could really find them being handy in your classrooms. Record of Reading is the first one. Record of Reading is an app that you can get for the iPad. It's free. Last year, one of the downsides was that you can record the student reading the passage as you're taking the running record, but this year what they've added is you can actually email both the record and the audio recording for free to your email. So I'll show you the app here. Bring it up. So this is what it looks like. It'll have name, school, date, teacher, etc. And all of this is easily, you can click and just type right into it. And you can click and type right into each of those pieces. The pieces here will be actually auto-calculated, and they have nice little drop-down menus that will scroll as you are looking at changing maybe the lexile of the story, etc. You can see the keyboard popped up there. Then below, what you can do is you can take actually the running record. So works nice with the stylus. I would highly recommend if you use this app just to get one of them. They're under 10 bucks, but the stylus, you put the page and then take your running record right here. And then it's nice because you can also click and it'll automatically count the errors and self-corrects, and you can say what kind of error it is. Now this would be really handy if you were going to be having somebody else take your running record, or if you were doing it and you wanted to share it with somebody else. If you come up to the top, there's an option that you'll be able to email it. And the nice part is that if you notice right here, you can record the student reading the passage, and then you can email both the completed running record and the audio of that recording to whoever you want to share it with, which would be a really handy tool to track data, especially with having the audio accompanied with it. So that is one of the apps I wanted to show you today. The other app is called Reader's Workshop. Reader's Workshop is really nice because what it does is it allows you to quickly collect data on students, kind of like you would with Pensive for Daily 5 or Cafe if some of you are using that. But the nice part is that it'll help you easily sort groups, so you can have that flexible grouping. If maybe certain students are working on a certain skill and you notice that you need to pull that group together, you'll be able to sort them by teaching points or needing help with a certain thing. So you can track this all within the app. So look like this. And notice I have my test class up there. If I click on that, I will have a student pop up here in a second. And what I can then do is if I want to, say I'm sitting down with that student to have a conferring session, I can click on the student and it'll track each note that I've taken for that student so far. And if I click to add a new note, it'll let me pick a tag. And here's where you can have some of your own tags. So you could have, maybe you're working on inferences and the tag would come up and you can tag it inferences. I don't have any selected or put in for this student. You could share the strength they are with that skill. Were they right on? Did they need a little help? You can even talk about the teaching point, maybe breaking down a certain skill and having that. So you can select each of these from nice little drop-down menus after I put some of them in there. So it makes it really, really easy for you to track what the student worked on. And then finally, with next steps, it allows you to go ahead and put some next steps and type these in, so the next time you meet with that student, they'll come up and you can type right in there, so you can track that, the different teaching points and the next steps that you want to follow up with that student. Now here's the cool part. So if I hit save, notice how it'll automatically save the different days that I've worked on or that I've met with that student in a conferring session. So instead of having to have the binder where you have all the different tabs, and that may work for you. For me, sometimes I got things lost or mixed up. This is a nice way that they're all right there. Now let's say that her parents want to know more about how she's doing in my class. I can click the little arrow in the corner and I can email the notes either to myself or even to her parents. This is a really, really handy way to organize all of the data that you collect over the course of the year. And then there's ways at the bottom that you'll be able to sort them. You can sort them by the date. So if you haven't met with a student for a while, we'll sort them by the students you've met with most recently, the ones you haven't met with. You can pull together a group and track group data. You can flag a student if they need extra support. And then you can even graph them by the level that they're at. So this is a really cool app and really helpful app to organize your reading data, organize your conferring sessions with students, and track data over time. So if you want to go back, it's all right there and easily accessible. And you can either email this to yourself, you can export it as a spreadsheet, so you can use that at conference time or put in a leadership binder if you'd like, and have all of those notes for that student available. So this is kind of a quick overview of 2 apps that I would recommend you checking out. And I know I talked about these last year, but I know Record of Reading is one that added some new features like I talked about earlier, the being able to record and email the audio of the passages for the running record. And then Reader's Workshop, that pensive that you can collect and save notes for the students over time. And now there's an easy way to get that data out of the app and be able to send it. There's a free version of or this one, and then there's also a paid version which has some more pieces to it. So hopefully this is kind of a helpful, just little preview of these 2 apps. And if you want to learn more or try these in your own classroom, please feel free to download the apps, and I can stop in. We can work on these together in your own classroom and how it may look for you. So hopefully you had a great staff meeting, and hopefully these apps are something that may work for helping collect reading data in your class.